Hi, welcome to Toys in the Hood. Today, what I'm going to be doing is talking about the origin of the Space Marine Primarch names. So, Rogue Trader was first released in 1987, that's over 35 years ago, and in that time, since then, we've seen loads of books released, we've seen loads of stories told, loads of battles have been fought, loads of fantastic models have been released, and we've seen these characters and their chapters evolve. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at these Primarchs, take a look at how they've developed, not how they started in the Emperor's cloning tanks, but how they started on paper, and how those names that they've been that they've been given have shaped their chapter over the years since Rogue Trader was written. So first up, we'll start with the first chapter. So the Dark Angels. This is a pretty well-known one, this one, I think. Lionel Jonson was an English poet who lived in the latter part of the 19th century. He hung around the same kind of social group as Oscar Wilde. As you can see from this picture, not quite the noble resurrected hero that we've just seen today. Now, he's most known for his poem, The Dark Angel. This is what gives us the chapter's name. Now, in this poem, the Dark Angel is about a sin, kind of a repressed sin, and this is believed to be basically Lionel Jonson's sexual desire. It's expressive of his struggles with homosexuality and also in the kind of Christian setting. Now, in a similar way, until he got better, Lionel Jonson, the Primarch, he was kept inside the rock, deep inside the rock, harboured away from people, sort of, you know, like this angel kept deep inside, or maybe the rock is kind of his proverbial closet and he's hidden away in that. Now, Lionel Jonson, the real Lionel Jonson, he converted to Catholicism later in life, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why the Dark Angels have such religious overtones. You can see from their chaplains, they wear robes, they look like monks. Of all the Space Marines, they look the most kind of what we'd consider kind of religious, or certainly the most kind of the Catholic religion. Now, Lionel Jonson, I was rereading Rogue Trader this morning, and Lionel Jonson is actually in there, although his name is spelt very, very differently. So it's interesting how he sort of reclaimed his name over time. And my final Lionel Jonson fact is Lionel Jonson died by falling off his bar stool. And this is a fact that really tickled Rick Priestley and is why he remembered the name when he was writing Rogue Trader. So our second Primarch is Fulgrim of the Emperor's Children. Quite straightforward. The name, the word fulgur is Latin for lightning, and it becomes the Spanish fulgur, which means dazzling brightness or lustre. Now, Fulgrim takes a lot of care over his appearance. You know, he's creates quite the impression, and it makes sense that, you know, that's his good name. He's dazzling, and then he's also known as the Phoenician. Now, possibly because the Phoenicians are based on Phoenix. Phoenix is a legendary bird that, when it's killed, it comes back from the ashes and it's reborn. The Emperor's Children similarly went down to just 200 members of their chapter, and then they rebuilt themselves afterwards. So that could be why the Phoenician comes in, because like a phoenix, he led his troops to return. However, what I also think it might come from is Fulgrim's choice of armour and the Emperor's Children's choice of armour. They wear purple. Now, the Phoenicians in the ancient world, they were known for making a purple dye, and this purple dye was made by grinding up seashells very finely. And it was quite an arduous process, so it was quite an expensive material, quite rare. You know, you'd see it used mainly by royalty as a result. Certainly the emperors of ancient Rome would wear purple robes to signify how important they were. So Pertuabo of the Iron Warriors, he's our third Primarch. Aleister Crowley was a 19th century occultist, and his motto is Frater Pertuabo, which means brother I will endure, which isn't dissimilar from iron within, iron without. You could also combine this Pertuabo, which is I will endure, you could combine it with perturb, meaning to make someone anxious or upset. So the combination of perturb and Pertuabo gives us Pertuabo, the Iron Warriors Primarch. We then have Jhagatai Chikan, the whites from the White Scars. Jhagatai, or rather Jhagatai, as the historical name would be, is the Mongol leader Genghis Khan's second son. He was considered to be hot-headed and temperamental by his relatives. You'll see that with the White Scars. And bearing in mind that his relatives were Mongols. Now, Mongols are not known for their calm and even tempers. The tactics of the White Scars, they favour hit-and-run attacks and lightning raids, which clearly represent the same as the Mongols would have done. And also, they ride bikes. The Mongols used to be fabled horse riders. And we have Leman Russ of the Space Wolves. So Russ, R-U-S, is an Old Norse word that means those who row, which is a way of describing Vikings and their longships. It also gives you the origins. That's why Russia is called Russia, because it was discovered by the Russ, which I think is as close as the explanation I can get for the names. A lot of the Space Wolf meanings, they're not exactly subtle. The fortress monastery is called the Fang. You know, wolves have fangs. There's the Canis helix, their gene seed, which gives them makes them turn into the wolfin, but also gives them the Space Wolf traits. You know, the long teeth and the like. Now, Canis is Latin for dog, and then Fenris comes from the Fenrir world wolf. The Fenrir world wolf will be unleashed at the end of the world. Then Leman Russ himself also has two wolves. He has Freki and Jerry, and these are the same names as the god Odin's pet wolves. And our sixth Primarch, and the last Primarch we'll look at today, is Rogal Dorn of the Imperial Fists. Rogal is likely to be a variant of royal or regal, and the surname Dorn that he has is Old English for stronghold, also Gallic for fist. So this gives us both an explanation of the name Imperial Fists and also for their love of fortification. And as for the chapter symbol, if you take a look at the logo for the Tom Robinson Band, who did the song 2468 Motorway, then you'll see that the logo is clearly inspired from that. So that's the first 6 Primarchs covered. In part 2, I'll take a look at another 6, starting with Conrad Curse of the Night Lords, who's possibly my favourite origin story, or at least connected with the name there. So make sure you click below and you subscribe so that you don't miss it. Thanks for listening. Cheers.